to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Call of the public. And then I was gonna say Julie's name when she got here.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
How's that for me?
Sorry.
It was myself and one other gal in the office today, so I was on the
You're
phone
busy.
right up to
Okay.
the. Are you ready for it?
Anyone here from the public
No.
wish to speak at this time? If not, we'll move into Julie. Just you can give a quick report.
Okay, yeah, not a whole lot. Just some deadlines. November 30th is the last day to pay 2020 taxes to avoid names in newspaper. So we get pretty busy. That brings the phone and the foot traffic will be happening. December 1st, winter tax bills go out, so you can all look forward to that. Sorry, I'm trying to out of breath. The My Half program has continued to be awesome. At this point, we've helped about 55 households for a total over $310,000.
Wow.
So it's been really, really amazing. Land Bank has some things going on, but nothing to really perhaps report at this time. A new program with grant money to help with demolitions or stabilization of properties. Have some proposals to look at, and we'll be working on that next couple months. See
what happens.
See what happens. Yeah. Up to 200,000 for the county to help with those funds. I'm just worried that they won't stretch as far as we would love them to. Yeah. But other than that, things are going good.
Any discussion for Julie?
I just, so the My Half, that's what it's called, so that's funded by the state. Is that expected to continue, or do you know?
They're saying it's gonna continue through, I believe, September of 26.
September of 26?
Yeah. Maybe unless they run out of some funds sooner, but that's what I have seen. It's up through 26, which I don't quite understand because their goal right now is working on the 2019, 2020, and 2021 taxes. So you would think, and it's COVID related.
Yeah, and I don't understand
So
that.
I don't
so-
either. I don't either, but that's.
And it is covering penalties and interest.
Yeah. Paying it.
It's good. we
It's
got some
amazing
help.
that we have, if we're getting that here, what that cost is to the state.
I mean,
You know,
there's
are they
some-
doing it in if they're doing it in all 83 counties, or
Counties.
some of them, or?
Yeah, no, they're doing it, it's across the state, I know other counties, are
So
dealing with it and working.
Oh, I thought
with
you were
it.
gonna say like, no, it ends at the end of this year.
No,
So we just got money to,
Is it,
it's, I believe it comes from federal funds originally down to the state level and then state.
good
Money
thing
to
we're,
burn.
good
It-
thing
it-
we're rescuing America.
is there
Yeah.
is there a limit?
25,000 per household.
Yeah, but
So
I
it's
mean,
not
I
just-
mean, you said 300,000. How far can you go? Was there a limit? How much they didn't give
Until they
you?
run out of money. I don't have a limit per county.
Oh, I just
No,
thought maybe
yeah.
they give us a budget of how much
Right.
it could be.
No,
Oh.
no, I don't know, but it's up to 25,000 a household. It's not just for their taxes, it can be their utility bills, it can be mortgage payments, land contract payments. So it's crazy.
I wish they'd help people with their groceries.
Yeah, well, I know. Of course, there are other programs that through DHHS and things that help some with food and whatnot. Yeah.
Right. Wow, that's all I got.
Well, thanks, Julie.
Okay, sure,
Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yeah, you almost annexed to that one. Okay. Item A, I need a motion to approve the Shiawassee County Board of Commissioners budget resolution for fiscal year 2023.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Tracy, There she is. I heard you mention this afternoon, you're working on it. You've got it, the rough edges done, and hopefully you'll have a copy for us,
Yes, we'll have the final budget for adoption at the next meeting.
right?
We are still working on making sure that we've matched up all the due crowns between all of the funds. General fund is a fund that has to have a balanced budget for
Right.
state. We're fairly close, like Fox talked about last night. There is a few things and we're still about 300,000 off right now. Hopefully we won't require cuts in personnel, will just be cuts in stuff.
Stop.
So.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
It
Questions?
was noted that that is possible, that there could be layoffs, there could be non-filling of positions that are voluntarily vacated.
Right, we do have a few of those listed, like they had been an approval for an additional person to do cleaning. It was approved like 2 years ago and it's never been filled. So rather than continuing to hold that position, we're just gonna cut it.
And of course, sometimes we can't do that. Some positions are vacated that you just can't do without. All of them. But I understand that you and Dr. Boggs started at 3 million and you got it down to 300,000. So probably that fruit is ever higher and harder to find.
It is.
So, yes, so this is just our first reading and we still have a gap.
Yeah. You know, just for conversation's sake, the last few years, we've been able to generate enough monies to support our general fund. And then we've had some monies left over several years to put it as a fund balance for our general fund. Up until that time, there was routinely, we dipped into the delinquent tax fund. A lot of times, 3, 4, 5, 6, 700,000 a year. That was pretty prevalent when I was here in 11, 12, 13, and 14, 15. We eliminated road patrol to save $1 million, and that helped us balance the budget 1 year. So even though it's going to be very, very tight next year because of inflation, which a lot of us pretty well realized, and some of the things the federal government has done has really put a damper on things. Hopefully it won't be as bad that if we don't have to take anything out of the tax delinquent fund, that would be a pretty good thing. Because that tax delinquent fund can build and that can do other things in the future. So, but just keep that in mind. And then I was here the first time, from 84 to 92, and we had budgets that we would pass, like in 86, and there was $700,000 over in 87 and never blinked an eye, because we had it in the general fund. So, you know, there's, everything ebbs and flows. So keep that in mind.
I had another question, and probably for Tracy. So I know yesterday Dr. Boggs talked a little bit about there being less revenue from the courts. It sounded, from what I remember, about 400,000. Where really is that 1.5 million shortfall that you started from? So inflation has increased our costs over $1 million, or are there revenues in other places that are?
There really aren't a lot of significant revenue deficiencies in other areas. The majority of it is due to cost increases, required salary increases based on bargaining unit contracts. We don't have any given those. Whatever's in the contract is what we have to do. So, you know, we do the bargaining unit stuff. We're trying not to raise like office supply lines that much, even though they're going to have to do more with less. If each department does not get an increase like in supplies, they're going to end up buying less supplies. Just because money won't go as far. We know those costs have gone up. We've looked at doing some capital projects that we may not be able to do, but were requested.
Okay.
And sometimes there's other items in the request, like vehicles for the sheriff's department. We recently, in the last 2 years, purchased, I think, 4 or 5 of them. We still have one on order. Hasn't been delivered yet, so believe there's 5 total. But they have more vehicles that need to be on the replacement rotation. And without the funding, that's one place where we can, yeah, they can make do with the vehicles they have, the repair costs start to go up. At this point, the repair costs are not more than, but it doesn't take much for it to happen. So we want to try to maintain, now that we've used ARPA money to help us get a good start on the rotation, we want to continue to do that rotation on a regular basis, so that in 4 or 5 years, we're not suddenly saying we need all 8 cars replaced at the same time. It's better for us if we can't afford to do 1 or 2 a year and constantly have them on rotation. Same way with computers. 2 years ago, we were able to use CARES money to buy new laptops for the county, but we're getting to the point now where we have to start replacing some of those laptops. We've had to order more of them due to an increase in personnel, and some of them we start replacing them because we're not going to be able to replace them all at the same time when they're all at the end of life at the same time.
So it sounds like a combination of some capital improvements that may or may not make the cut, and then the salary increases would be another substantial.
Salaries is always a good portion of what the general fund budget is made up of anyway, so. When, last year, we were at 18.5 million for salaries and benefits.
19.4.
19.4 was total, okay, and this year it's gonna be over the 20 million mark for salaries and benefits coming out of general fund.
Oh,
So,
yeah, if we were at
that's-
19.4,
Yeah.
yeah, easily.
Yeah, 5%, and unfortunately, if somebody's getting a 5% raise and puts in their contract, it's not even staying with cost of living, Regular inflation is running around 8% right now, between 8 and 9%.
Well, we all know who we have to thank for that.
I'm not going into that part. I'm just saying these are the things where the money has to come from and where it has to go to.
Okay, any other discussion? Oh, Gary.
Yeah, I can remember years ago, when I was here, we took up $1.2 million out of the delinquent tax fund, if I remember right.
Yeah, we did.
$1.2 million.
I think it was for the 15-year budget, 15.
I don't know what year it was, but can't remember that, but I know it was.
Yeah, we took about
I
heat for
remember.
that.
And lots of times it was close to $1,900,000.
Well, and that delinquent tax fund though was making more money when interest rates
Yeah.
weren't 0.10 or.
That's right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of things.
They was making $400,000 a year some years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking
Remember,
over 15 years ago.
remember when Julie came in, we hired Glass, started investing monies because that hadn't been done for 20 years. So, but when it's only 0.1% or something, or 0.2, but I imagine right now, do you know right offhand what, treasury bills are like 3.6 or something? And usually it's one app below that, so maybe we're making 2%, maybe.
Yeah, it has gone up thankfully from, it's on its way up a little bit compared to what
Better
we
than
had
0.1.
the last year.
Yeah. So, but then again, if the mortgage rates are 8 and 9 and 10% to buy a house, that doesn't help anybody either, so. Okay, anyway, any other discussion at this time? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to item B. Need a motion to approve the agreement between Shiawassee County Land Bank and the Shiawassee County Board of Commissioners and authorize the chair to execute the same.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion.
Support.
There's a motion and a second discussion. This is an agreement that in the future, if the land bank does financially well, that they'll pay back the funds that they borrowed.
Basically, yes,
Yeah.
and what we did was, the big item of contention, or I shouldn't say even contention, I should say difficulty that we grappled with is what the splits will be on individual projects, and we came to realize that every project's going to be different. So this agreement doesn't handle that, and that will be open for negotiation on a project by project basis. This gets us going, gets our land bank in good shape so that we can move on with some of the great things we already have going. The acquisition from the state land bank of certain properties that are going to, I think, fund the land bank and pay the county back in this next fiscal year, as well as leave some money. Plus, Julie mentioned the blight grant, which I'll probably talk about tomorrow, where we're getting a couple of $100,000. Probably have $2 million in requests, but isn't that the way it always goes?
Yeah. Okay, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Item C, need a motion to approve the refilling of Deputy Register of Deeds 2.
So moved.
Support.
There's a motion and a second. I know Lori's over here. You had somebody retire?
At the end of the year.
Yep, so you want to train them a little bit?
Yes, she's a longtime county employee leaving me, so.
Yeah, okay. Any discussion for Lori? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Item D, need a motion to authorize the purchase of 2 Dell PowerEdge R750 servers an amount not to exceed $19,488.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion. Everybody read their stuff? I did. Routine. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Okay, final call to the public. There's not a lot of people rushing up here. So, anything else? If not, meeting adjourned.
And stand to the pledge, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our first call to the public. Is there anybody that wishes to address this committee? Not seeing any. Let's move to our to approve the purchase of a new patrol vehicle and equipment in a total amount not to exceed $52,713.33.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Is there discussion, questions, more information?
This is coming out of a grant, not general
Yes.
fund money.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that a Ford too, or not? I guess I didn't.
I don't
I don't
know.
think it's.
It doesn't say.
Yeah, it doesn't
It's
say.
all they can get here.
You know what?
It doesn't, but it doesn't even say what it is.
Probably for whatever they can get. I mean, some manufacturers are a year out, some are 9 months. Who knows?
I know on the last one, they switched it a couple times because the dealer couldn't get him anything.
Yeah.
A Tahoe would be significantly more than this, about 57,000. So, I believe
What time
this
they
is
get
the
it?
Okay. If there is no more discussion, all in favor of moving this to tomorrow night, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, motion carries. Item B, I would entertain a motion to approve the contract with Michigan Mental Health Court for a grant in the amount of $88,159, the Edward Burr Memorial Justice Assistant Grant in the amount of $42,010, the Michigan Drug Court Grant Program in the amount of $49,990, and the Swift Insurer Sanctions Probation Program Grant in the amount of $53,000, and authorize the board chair to execute all necessary documents.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
A motion and support. Any discussion or questions?
Just note that the mental health grant went up about 19,000 roughly. The Edward Vine grant went down 50,000 from last year. Swift and Sure stayed the same, and then the drug court's new. So it almost evens out, same total of grants.
All right.
So do these grants then 100% fund these programs?
I do not know the answer to that question. Yeah, Tracy, go ahead.
The items that are covered in the grant support that part of it, but like the two ladies that handle those courts, they work with all three courts. So they may have 25% of their salary in drug court, 25% with the veterans in the treatment court, 25% with another one, and 25% with general fund. So it covers everything in that court. Generally what happens is, like in the drug treatment court, they hold the billings on the actual drug test until year end. Whatever isn't spent on everything else then gets sent to the company doing the drug test. And they accept whatever we can pay. And settle up to pay for that stuff. So on an individual basis, yes, that grant will cover that cost.
Other than, it sounds like just a small portion, 25% of salaries that would come out of general fund.
Well, that is work that they do for circuit court in general.
Oh, okay.
It's not that they're not doing something, that's just how their time has to be split. With the number of days in court, with the number of people that they see, each court has its own time, and that's approximately the way their stuff is split.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, if there's no further discussion, all in favor of moving this item on to Wednesday, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion moves to Wednesday. Item C, have and entertain a motion to approve the contract with the Shiawassee RESD and the county for services to the Sheriff's Department.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Motion and support. Anybody have more information on this item?
Just a renewal, no
Okay.
cost
Yep.
increase.
Okay. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor of moving this on to tomorrow night, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, that moves on to Wednesday night. Item 5, call to the public. Seeing none, meeting's adjourned.